कॉरिडोर का इस भूमि पूजन के अवसर पर कोटि-कोटि शुभकामनाएं और बधाइयां देता हूं.
Prime Minister Modi's dream project, the Bullet Train, finally gears up to become a reality. The Bullet Train will begin operations from 2022. The state-of-the-art train will cover a distance of 509 kilometers in less than 3 hours. The railways will run 35 bullet trains when it starts operations in 2022, with about 70 trips per day. The ambitious project plans to scale up operations by increasing the number of trains to 105 by 2050.
What we are looking at here right now is an ambitious project that will reduce the travel time from Mumbai to Ahmedabad and back to almost 2 hours.
As Prime Minister Modi flags off the project, calling it the pride of India, BJP leaders are quick to take credit.
मैं ये मानता हूं कि इसका बहुत ज्यादा लाभ इन दो राज्यों को होगा, देश को तो होगा ही.
भारत को इस प्रोजेक्ट की टेक्नोलॉजी और बहुत सस्ते दर पर निवेश उपलब्ध कराने के लिए हम जापान का धन्यवाद करते हैं.
The one-of-a-kind bullet train project will generate over 40,000 new jobs and will change the way India travels. But all this will come at a price. An estimated fare of 3,000 rupees per ride. And to begin with, it will only ply between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, thus leaving the citizens not very enthused.
मोदी जी ने ऐसा अवसर दिया है तो हम अक्सर इसका जरूर उपयोग करेंगे. ये हमारा जो डेवलपमेंट है हमारे इंडिया का, वो इसी से दिखता है हमको.
Instead, citizens are demanding answers for the recent accidents that shocked the nation. In 60 days, 5 trains have derailed in India, leaving over 100 people dead. While the bullet train is a big leap for India, what the country demands are small, significant steps to secure rail safety. Mirror Now report.
Watching the urban debate on Mirror Now, I'm Faye D'Souza. It's a raging debate on whether or not India currently needs a bullet train. And we're looking at the pros and the cons, and they're very interesting, viewers. And as Indians, we should actually consider this. State-of-the-art technology. Do we not want to be a country that has state-of-the-art technology? Do we not want to employ the 24,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, who will be employed by this train? In construction first, and then in actually managing the train, and then of course in the indirect employment that will come for the people who will supply the food and the chai and the things like that in the train. These are the pros. The cons, though, on the other side are very interesting. The train will cost, by estimate, at least 3,000 rupees per ticket between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Then doesn't it only cater to a sliver of our population? Of 3,000 rupees. Who pays 3,000 rupees to go to Ahmedabad? I want to remind you that my team checked. The flight tickets are cheaper. The flight is faster. The flight between Mumbai and Ahmedabad is 40 minutes. This train will take a little over 2 hours. It is a rich man's train. Also, what about the rest of the country? And most importantly, even if we want to separate all of the arguments and say you can't actually say children are starving, so you shouldn't put in a train. Most importantly, just today, the Rajdhani derailed inside New Delhi's train station. We're having train accident after train accident. Our rail safety is abysmal. People are dying in our trains. The number of people who die on the trains of the Mumbai local every day would amount to an epidemic in any other country. But we haven't fixed those problems. So is it a question of priority? Or, as a forward-looking country, is it a question of the fact that we want to have the state-of-the-art technology and it is a step in the right direction? These are the questions we're asking, and I'm not taking a stand tonight. I'm going to open this debate up to the people who believe for and against, and as viewers, we will hear out their arguments and make our decision. Joining me on the show this evening, Sanju Verma, spokesperson of the BJP. We also have G.N. Asthana, who is a retired general manager at the South Central Railway. Sameer Zaveri is a railway expert. Rajiv Mishra is an RTI activist. Gautam Kirtane is a senior fellow project head at Mumbai First, and of course we have Akash Jindal, who is an economist. I want to hear from each member of the panel, but I'm going to start with Rajiv Mishra. Rajiv Mishra is our citizen voice. Mishra ji, आपको ट्रेन चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए?
देखिए, मैं तो सबसे पहले ये कहना चाहूँगा कि बुलेट ट्रेन, आप एक फॉरेन कल्चर को जो अपने यहाँ इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहते हैं, तो उसके पहले आपको फॉरेन में बाकी सब चीज़ें जिस तरह की हैं उसको आपको पहले लाना पड़ेगा, तब जाकर के फॉरेन के जो
जैसे कैसे चीज़ें,
जैसे मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि फॉरेन में बाकी के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अगर आप देखने जाएँ, वहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट क्या होता है? ह्यूमन लाइफ। ह्यूमन लाइफ को वहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस दिया जाता है, एजुकेशन को और हेल्थ को सबसे ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस दिया जाता है। उसके बाद बात आती है अगर कोई चीज़ की, तो वो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की बात आती है, उनको वहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा प्रेफरेंस दिया जाता है। तो ये सब चीज़ों पर आप क्या खरे उतर रहे हैं क्या? अभी हमारे यहाँ अगर आप देखेंगी तो जो प्री मैच्योर्ड बेबी का जो जन्म होता है, उसको एक बड़ा खुलासा सामने आ रहा है कि महाराष्ट्र जैसे प्रदेश में प्री मैच्योर्ड बेबी के लिए जितने बेड्स हमको चाहिए उसके 50% बेड्स भी हमारे पास उपलब्ध नहीं है। तो ऐसी स्थिति में जहां कुपोषण से बच्चे मर रहे हो, जहां पर बच्चों के लिए इलाज की सुविधा ना हो, जहां लोग जहां पर बेरोजगारी अपने चरम सीमा पर जा रही हो, वैसी जगह पर क्या बुलेट ट्रेन या फार्मर सुसाइड हो रहे हो, इस तरह की बातों में होने के बाद क्या बुलेट ट्रेन पर 1,08,000 करोड़ रुपया खर्च करना क्या भारत सरकार के लिए शोभादायक है? ये पहले भारत सरकार को सोचना होगा। मैं बोलता हूं, अगर आप ताजमहल बना दो और उस ताजमहल के सामने गरीबों की एक पूरी टोली आपको खड़ी नजर आए, तो फिर उस ताजमहल से आप भारत को क्या सम्मान दे पाओगे? तो मेरा कहना यह है कि पहले आप प्रायोरिटी डिसाइड करो कि क्या मैं आपको एक बात बताना चाहूँगा कि ये भले ही जापान गवर्नमेंट से आप पैसा लेके बना रहे हो, लेकिन ये वो बात हो गई कि मेरे घर में बच्चे भूखे मर रहे हैं, मेरे बच्चे स्कूल नहीं जा पा रहे हैं और मैं कर्ज लेकर के मर्सिडीज गाड़ी पे घूम रहा हूँ। तो अगर ऐसा मुखिया मैं घर का हूँ तो मेरा परिवार का हालत क्या होगा? ये सोचने वाली बात है। मुझे लगता है कि बहुत सारे इससे बड़े बड़े प्रायोरिटी इस देश के हैं जिसको पहले पूरा करना चाहिए। और दूसरी बात रही बात रेल की, मैं पर्सनली रेल पे आता हूँ। इस मुंबई में जिस लोकल ट्रेन में सफ़र करने के दौरान, जवेरी साहब सामने हैं, जवेरी साहब को इसका बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस है। मैं आपको बता रहा हूं कि इस लोकल ट्रेन में सफ़र करने के दौरान जिस स्थिति में लोग सफ़र करते हैं, 12 से 13 ट्रेन से गिर करके लोग या तो घायल होते हैं और उसमें से 3-4 लोगों की प्रतिदिन मौत होती है, प्रतिदिन। ऐसी स्थिति में आप लोकल ट्रेन में जो लोग एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए निकलते हैं उनके जान की रक्षा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं।
ठीक है, ओके। So very clear points being made there. Gautam Kirtane, I understand you are for the train. What is your argument against what Rajiv Mishra was saying?
No, Faye, it's whatever Rajiv Mishra said is all very valid points. In fact, I have been involved also with some work along with Mrs. Zaveri for bringing to the forefront the 10 deaths per day, about 4,000 deaths that we have roughly on Mumbai's rail tracks, killer tracks every year, you know, more than the Bhopal gas tragedy every year, repeating year on year endlessly. So these are all very valid points. But the bullet train is not an either-or sort of scenario. It's a very important piece of infrastructure, transport infrastructure for the country of India. It is a proven technology that connects big cities, that spreads wealth, that spreads business very, very rapidly, more so than anything else. And, you know, to say that the bullet train is expensive, so let's not do it, or it's as cheap as a plane. The plane is not cheap. The plane is not a poor man's transportation means, you know. So if the bullet train is a rich man's bullet train, every single airline is a rich man's airline. So should we now also do away with the airlines in totality? Yes, it's an exorbitant cost. It's a very, very heavy price to pay, no doubt about it. One should analyze it, but the fares that are being offered are globally competitive, I would imagine.
So Gautam, answer this question for me. It is a rich man's train, and it runs in only one sector between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. How many people will we actually benefit from this train? How many people will we actually be able to use? So when you have the bus, the regular train for less than 500 rupees, when you have flight tickets for 2,000 rupees, how many people will pay 3,000 rupees to take these trains?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Faye. It's not about a train for rich people. The purpose of the train is not so that rich people can get on board, have a joyride and connect between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. The principal purpose is to move the economy, to give it a push. In my view, Mumbai is the mother city here. It has everything to offer. It's the pot of gold. It's going to connect to Ahmedabad and Gujarat, and every other city that is connected in Gujarat along with Ahmedabad will benefit from the spread of wealth, principally from Mumbai to these cities. Including cities in Maharashtra, which are a couple also there. But the principal idea is to spread wealth, to give a push to the economy.
All right. Let me bring in Akash Jindal. Akash Jindal is an economist. Akash Jindal, spread wealth, give a push to the economy. So fundamentally what Gautam Kirtane is describing is that Mumbai is throwing a charger cable to Ahmedabad and Gujarat will charge out of the economy of Mumbai. Does that justify, according to you, the bullet train, Akash Jindal, as an economist?
No, this argument alone doesn't justify it at all, because already Mumbai is much well connected with Ahmedabad, as you described, by bus, by train, by aircraft. We can have more number of aircraft. Even we have, in case we have to expand the airports at both the places, the cost would be much lesser. So Mumbai, even if we think that Mumbai of course is a major economic city and Ahmedabad can grow along with it, there's nothing wrong with the idea, but Mumbai and Ahmedabad are already sufficiently well connected. They could be better connected, but that doesn't mean that we have to spend that much. But if you talk about the idea of bullet train, I think one thing which goes in the favor of bullet train is that yes, we'll be seen as a technology savvy nation throughout the world. We can show to US, Europe that yes, we also have this technology which other countries boast of. Now, our Prime Minister, I have very high respect for our Prime Minister. He's a visionary person. He likes to think big. He likes to think big for the country. He's a visionary. He dreams big and better for the country. I salute him for this vision of his, and he perhaps wants to deliver this to the citizens of this country, and we need to be proud of such a marvel. But on the other hand, if we talk about the priorities, I started this debate yesterday at all the TV channels. 17 billion US dollars. It's a huge amount. My friend was talking that Japan has given it. It's a loan which we need to repay. Each and every person of us, taxpayers, they need to repay, and Japan is not giving a soft loan. In Japan, the rates of interest are in negative, so 0.1% interest is also beneficial for Japan. So that is the issue which I am talking about. Now, had we invested that money in train safety, had we invested that money in agriculture, in the betterment of life for our agriculturists, had we invested this money in employment generation, had we invested this money in many other areas, the returns would have been much faster, much greater. Already when Mumbai and Ahmedabad, I have been myself traveling, there's great air connectivity, time is also too less. So we have to talk only about the priorities. See, we don't have unlimited amount of money. I am an economist. I don't want to go into details. We are already a high deficit economy. So we have limited quantum of money to invest. Now what we have to do is we have to think, where do we get the maximum benefit of investing that money? Yes, this train would give us branding.
Right. Let me bring in Sanju Verma.
But there are other options which would get us better results for the people of our country. I firmly feel that, and I have data to justify that.
All right, let me bring in Sanju Verma, who I know wants to respond. Sanju Verma from the BJP. Do we need the bullet train in India? Is it just a rich man's train, Sanju Verma?
Okay, Faye, I was listening intently to your panelists, and obviously, this is a divided house. First of all, is it a rich man's train? I'm surprised so many economists and academicians throughout the day have not bothered to, find out that 3,000 rupees is what the government is talking in 2023 by when the bullet train will be operational. So if you take a compounding of between 10 to 20%, that works out to between 1,500 to 2,000 rupees. If you increase the compounding rate, then it works out to less than 1,000 rupees. So it's not a rich man's train. Even if you assume a Mumbai, Delhi discounted fare is 2,000 rupees.
But
so I've never
Sanjeev Verma, are you talking about a 10 to 15% compounding inflation on this
No, this is not
price of
valid.
this ticket?
10 to 15% compounding is not valid. Inflation rate is much more lower.
Sanjeev Verma, I'm going to come back to you. I just want to go across to Ajay Makan, who joins us right now from Delhi. Ajay Makan was one of the first critics of the bullet train. Ajay Makan, the question that we're asking this evening is simply this. It's the latest technology. India has always been a country that wanted to be part of the latest technology. What is the argument against the bullet train? Why do you believe we don't need a train like this?
Well, bullet train, it shows the priority of the government. On one hand, when we are grappling with safety issues of railways, and most of the common citizens, middle class, lower middle class, poor people in the country, when they are using trains and the standards are going down and safety issues are coming up. So instead of investing in that, the government is spending money on bullet train. So it shows the priority of the government. What we are trying to say is that bullet trains, okay, but before bullet trains, please ensure the safety of Indian trains. Please ensure the convenience of millions of passengers, poor and middle class passengers who solely depend on trains.
But Mr. Makan, the question that will then automatically pop up is what was done by the previous government, the UPA government, to ensure safety in trains. The numbers were just as bad, at least in the Mumbai local, and the derailments and the accidents. So this is a continued process. I ask you the same question about the UPA government.
Well, yeah. But in UPA government, the situation was much better. The casualty rates, the accident rates were much better as compared to the present government. And things should improve. No, we were there in the government, and if suppose people didn't like us, they brought in BJP. BJP should have performed better. So BJP has on one hand failed to perform better, and on top of that they are trying to bring in bullet train at the cost of further depreciation of poor people's convenience.
But Mr. Makan, my research tells me that the numbers are actually not different. You just said that during the UPA government that the train derailments, the accidents, the deaths were actually, the numbers were better, but they were not. But, that's just statistics. The other question I have to ask of you is the whole point of either or, the point of either or. I agree that we have to look at safety. Even just today we had a derailment. There is one side of the argument from one side of my panel that says it should happen simultaneously. It should not be one or the other. What is your response to that? We should be working on the bullet train and safety at the same time.
Well, you should, but where are the resources? What about the allocation of resources? The government has not come out openly and suggested what would be the allocation of resources as far as safety is concerned. And as far as railway accidents and safety is concerned, I'm not sure from which statistics you've got. The statistics which we came up today in the morning, Mallikarjun Kharge, our former railway minister, he came out with the statistics which clearly indicates situation was much better, far better during Congress's regime.
All right. We could get into the statistics of safety during the Congress regime. But I must point out that our experts, we have rail experts who tell us that it was not different, it was just as bad. And the safety measures, the measures taken at that time did not change things. I mean, from one government to another. But Mr. Makan, finally, for the people who are watching right now, who want to know the choice between Mumbai and Ahmedabad for this bullet train, as opposed to any other sector, do you believe that Mumbai to Ahmedabad was the best sector, was the best choice?
Well, before going on to the selection of sector, again I would like to point out two things. First, the BJP should stop talking about the previous governments. They have come with their own set of promises. They have come up with their own set of blue sky which they have projected to the people. Let them do what they had promised. So I don't think they are doing what they had promised. The second thing is, we'll not go into the sector, because what I am saying is that the priorities of the government should be set right. The priority should be common citizens, more people who are using this, and if they are able to take care of that, if they are able to take care of safety, security of passengers, more trains for the common citizens, then yes, get bullet train for us.
All right, Mr. Markan, thank you for joining us here on Mirror. Now, I'm going to take that question back to Sanju Verma, the point that Mr. Ajay Markan was making. Priorities of the government, Sanju Verma, safety, security, more trains. Once we do all of this, then let's look at the bullet train. What's your response?
Okay, you know, Faye, let me corroborate what another gentleman on your panel was saying. Railways, in terms of safety, signaling, gauge conversion, all these are not mutually exclusive. Point number one. Point number two, here you have Mumbai, which accounts for almost 7% of India's GDP, and there you have Ahmedabad. You know, the size of Gujarat's GDP alone is $150 billion plus, and Ahmedabad is the fulcrum. So why not link these two mega cities? Because, you know, people have even questioned why Mumbai, why Ahmedabad? Is it an election ploy? Because these days conspiracy theories abound. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Point number three, do you remember, Faye, that, you know, in 1983, when Maruti Suzuki, that time it was just, Maruti, you know, they tied with Suzuki, everybody said, why is India tying up with a car manufacturer? We can't even afford bikes, mopeds, two-wheelers. Why the need to have a joint venture for a four-wheeler, joint venture with an automobile company? And today, Maruti in India is the global hub for Suzuki. Maruti today is the global
Okay, stay on
hub
point,
for
Sanju
Suzuki.
Verma. So we're not going to become the global hub for bullet trains. We should stay on point.
Make in India program of the government.
Okay, so the bullet train is the part of the Make in India program of the government. I understand 20,000 construction.
You never interrupt others.
I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. I thought you were done.
You never interrupt others. Do you want this to be a screaming match?
Definitely.
No,
not,
I want to make one last point.
Okay, go ahead.
I also remember naysayers saying, when a couple of years back we launched the Mars mission, we don't have, people getting enough to eat. Why the Mars mission? And today, these are the same people who pat themselves on the back saying, oh wow, India launched a Mars mission with 6 Sigma precision. So there are certain things like safety of railways, high-speed rail, regional connectivity, flying by air, the growth in mobile phone, traffic. All these are not mutually exclusive. I remember when mobile phones were launched, people said, why should I buy a mobile phone for 7,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 bucks? Today you have 103 crore mobile phone subscribers.
Okay. So you're saying they're not mutually exclusive. I have a couple of panelists who haven't spoken yet.
103 crore mobile phone subscribers.
All right. Let me bring in Samir Zaveri. He's a railway activist, and then after that, Mr. Astana, who also will speak. Samir Zaveri, not mutually exclusive. Interestingly enough, Sanju Verma pointing out that Mangalyaan, which was a Mars mission, was actually launched by the previous government, who are now criticizing this this train. But Samir Zaveri, what is your argument against the bullet train?
Yeah, see, it is very clear that bullet train is going to use out of 100 citizens, only 5 citizens who are financially strong, and they already have the airlines. Because that time the airlines fare and bullet train would be the similar. Okay. And the loan, the huge loan obtained from the Japan, is going to repay from all 100 people's pocket. So, my request is to the BJP government, and I am asking 4 questions, that priority should be given in public interest litigation is going on in Bombay High Court filed by me about the railway issues. The 17 March 2017 this year, we all aware that there are the attempt to derail the railway by the terrorist activity by putting the iron slab on the railway track, which was detected by the motorman because it was daytime and he stopped the train. So the accident was averted. So Honorable Bombay High Court just quick asked the railway, just I am reading 2 lines, whether railway authority have any mechanism to find out if any metal object is kept on the railway track. So advocate of the railways replied, there is no mechanism available to find out the incidents with the railway authority. The High Court suggested 2 lines, the railway authority to inquire from other countries what steps they taken in case where the objects are kept on the train. So at Maruti, Suzuki, all that you can take help of the foreign country. It is the utmost priority to prevent the terrorist activity. So 6 months pass. I want answer of one first question from the BJP, that what you have done, number one. Number two.
Okay, we will go point by point.
So number two,
yes.
The train derailment happened. I obtained information from the Mumbai Railway Authority. In Mumbai, every third day there is the railway track get fracture, break. So train stop for half an hour, sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 1 hour. Because it is detected, so train is not derailed, sometimes it derailed. So the reason is the two. One is the track got fractured, other is the fracture failed, and again they weld it. So because of this fracture of the railway track, this portion become weak. So railway authority put the restriction of the speed of the trains. For example, train runs at 120 speed, they put 70 km at that location, which affect the frequency of Mumbai suburban section also. Two. So why you not invest such money and taking help from Japan? To find solution, foreign is there.
One second. Let me just one second. I'll come back to you. We'll take it point by point. I also want to bring in Mr. G.N. Asthana. He's the retired General Manager of the South Central Railway. Mr. Asthana, where do you stand on this? On the fact that we still are using manual signalling, we still, like was pointed out by Samir Zaveri, do not have a mechanism in which the trains can tell if there's something on the track, so they need to stop and not get derailed. Do you believe that those are the problems that need to be solved before we consider bullet trains?
Coming so late in the debate, I have heard my fellow panelists, and if we take a balanced view, there are some very strong points against such a massive investment in bullet trains, but there are also equally strong points in favor of inducting this technology. You see, it is a fact that the cost of bullet trains is about 10 to 15 times more than that of a conventional train. Secondly, if the ridership is not as per the estimates, the estimated fares may even go higher. But coming to that, you see the same questions were there in China and in many other countries when the trains were started. And today what you see, they have completely transformed the country. They have uplifted the urbanization. A bullet train doesn't connect the only two end destinations, Bombay and Ahmedabad. There would be certain cities like Surat, there would be certain cities like Anand, which will be connected like within a commuting distance from the mega cities. So it has completely transformed the landscape in many other countries. So many benefits can also come. Secondly, the technology which will come through bullet trains would not impede the development of the conventional trains. It would help. The safety will be taken to a next higher level. As one of the fellow panelists said, that in case of automobile, where was India? And there was a long debate that why should we import so much? And then today you see our auto component makers are sending parts to Mercedes. They are sending parts all over the world. Same thing can happen in the railway technology. We have been left behind. Today, earlier we had a lot of presence in Africa and elsewhere. But today everybody asks, what are your maximum train speeds? Nobody gives you a project. I recall that in early 80s, there was a debate whether color television is more necessary or food, as if the two were mutually exclusive. Both were needed. And I don't think if color television had not come, there would have been more food. So I think the bullet train has its own advantage. If Indian Railways had to bear its own cost entirely, then it would not have been worth its while.
All right,
but we have to remember that Japan has given us such a good loan that only about 20 to 30,000 crores will have to be spent by the Indian government, and rest of the loan is to be paid at 0.2% interest in next 50 years. So the outgo of the Indian Railways or the Government of India will be only 5 to 6,000 crores per year. So I don't think that this sort of investment, which is a fraction of what the Indian Railways budget is going to in any way affect the safety. In fact, the systems, the technology, the work ethics that will come from high-speed trains would improve the safety standards of the Indian Railways. That is my belief.
One second. Let me just take this question. Back to the economist on the panel, Akash Jindal. Akash Jindal, some very valid arguments being made that it will open up economics. That it is not mutually exclusive. The bullet train is not mutually exclusive to all of the other development. But if we consider the fact, Akash Jindal, that if you have limited resources, like you pointed out, then we need to prioritize. I want your response to the arguments just made. Go ahead, Akash Jindal.
Yeah. Firstly, let me compliment Sanju Verma and her party that yes, her party has thought big for the country. The party, it's a visionary party. It thinks big for the country. They have done that. So I compliment them for that. Now, there are many other points where I need to speak. Firstly, about priorities. Now, railways, we need lots and lots of investment, which is required for safety of railways, which has been ignored. Because as I said, we have limited money. We have to decide where the money has to go. We still have unmanned crossings. We have signaling problems. We have track problems. We have issues because of which there are lots of accidents. So I think the money should have been invested there. And even after 3 years and 4 months of this party being in power, the wrong things are happening with railways, which everybody is seeing. Now comes the other example of infrastructure. Now, I'll give you a practical example. I drive from Delhi to my hometown Rampura Phul in Punjab. I mean, Punjab is considered a prosperous state. I drive around 300 kilometers. Now, what I get on that road is 60% of the road is not lit. 40% of the road has got potholes. 30% of the road is a single road where trucks come charging into me. And there are broken bridges on canals, and it is a very risky drive for me.
And this is a national highway.
I would, and the state I pass through, Haryana, and the state I reach, Punjab, these are considered the prosperous states of this country. This is the state of affairs. I want a safer journey to drive there. No, please allow me to complete. I never interrupted. Thirdly, Sanju mentioned about Maruti. I think we are comparing apples with oranges. The investment in Maruti, even if we compare the inflation adjusted cost, was much lesser. Then the most important point is the return on investment. In a car making company, the return of investment is much quicker, much higher. Okay. Here the return of investment would be much slower. So these two are not at all comparable as a business planner. One more thing I need to complete. Our friend from the railways was pointing out that Japan has given us a very nice loan.
I'm sorry, I need to come in now.
Sir, with due regards, it's not a very nice loan. In Japan, the rates of interest are in negative. And Japanese, for their economy to grow and survive, they need India. So that rate of interest also for Japan is a lucrative rate of interest, and we need to pay them, and we are not going to get a return on investment. This is, nobody has talked about it. It's very important whether this venture would be profitable or not. The money which is going to be invested, when do we break even? When does this venture start making profit? I've been asking it since yesterday.
But I don't believe that these ventures ever make a profit. But the interesting point that was brought up by Mr. Asthana is that if we don't get the kind of travelers that we expect,
US dollar along with interest, so this is the amount which we have to pay. This so much huge debt would be there on the country and each and every citizen. So I think
so the point is that Japan has not given us a gift, they've given us a loan that needs to be paid back. All right, I just want to point out to our audience that our panel right now is perfectly split down the middle. 3 people seem to agree about the bullet train, and 3 of my panelists disagree. Sanju Verma, go ahead, and then I'll bring in, so we're opening this up right now for rebuttal. Sanju Verma, go ahead.
Okay, Faye, I would first like to thank, Akash for extending, a gracious compliment to the BJP. Now, let me rebut him. Who says that, getting interest with a 15-year moratorium for 50 years at 0.1% is bad economics? Let me tell you for the benefit, Mr. Akash and everybody else out there in the audience, when an international loan is extended, you take an average of 20 to 30 years or more when you give a long-term loan of 50 years. What was the Japanese bond yield in 1984? 7.6%. It fell down to minus 0.3% in July 2016. But today it is in positive territory. It has been hovering between 0.03 and 0.1%. So if we've got a loan at 0.1%, not at the 1984 rate of 7.6% or at minus 3% as of July 2016, is that bad economics? No. We've got a great deal. If we had taken loan from any other multilateral institution, including the World Bank or IMF, we would not have got a loan for more than 20 years, and we would not have got a loan at less than anywhere between 3 to 7%, which is the common rate going by multilateral agencies at this point in time. So we've certainly got a great deal. Point number 2, any deal is bad if it's just body shopping. If Japan had not agreed to transfer skills and technology or to give a push and energize our indigenous manufacturing, I would have agreed with Akash and many other naysayers who have been rubbishing the bullet train project that it was a bad deal for the Modi government. But we signed a bilateral agreement with Japan in 2011, and under that, the bullet train will transfer technology,
bilateral
skills.
agreement in 2011.
It will also give a push to various other things.
Madam,
like
when is it
nuclear
going to
energy,
break
urban
even?
waste management,
When is it going to
transport,
break even?
and it
When
will
am I
pave
going to
the way
recover that
for more
17 billion US dollar? Please answer my question.
All right,
17 billion US dollar. Please allow me 10 seconds. Madam, I want to know. No.
Interrupt you? Why
I'm not
are you
interrupting
interrupting me?
Okay, let's not turn this into a screaming match. Let's not turn it into a screaming match. One second. There are other people who want to speak. Just one second.
I just want to know when is this going to break even? This was a part of my original question.
Give me some time on
Please
this.
answer me when is it going to break even? When am I going to see the return?
Okay.
Yes, I will answer this.
Okay, Mr. Asthana wants to answer this question. Mr. Asthana wants to answer this question.
Please answer this, madam.
One second. Mr. Asthana wants to answer this question.
I would wish to answer that.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Akash,
I would like to answer this.
Your intolerance. You wanted me to listen to you, but you have been intolerant and impatient.
Madam, this is not a debate on intolerance.
One second. Mr. Asthana will answer. Mr. Asthana has volunteered to answer this question. Just one second. Sanju Verma, Akash Jindal, let's hear other voices.
Technological prowess, and it is going to push the infrastructure growth story.
Okay, fair enough. I want to let the other people in the panel have a say. Mr. Asthana, go ahead.
I have a more macro point to make. Can I make that?
I want to make a point.
One second. Sanju Verma, 1 second. Mr. Asthana, go ahead.
Yeah.
Please speak.
You see, if we take an honest view,
Fashionable to do so.
No, I want to hear Mr. Asthana. Go ahead. Yes.
Please allow me to speak. If we want to take an honest view, in pure economic terms, it may never give positive rate of return. But then, so is the case with all the metros. The cost of metro construction is same and at times much more than the high-speed rail. Do you think that the metros in state capitals like Lucknow or Jaipur, they would give positive return purely in terms of money? They would never give. But the fact is that these are the essential features of the urbanization. And gradually, when the buying power increases and as the population migrates to cities, these type of investment, infrastructure investment have to be brought in. You see, we are starting high-speed rail, say about 20 to 30 years late. And someday or the other it has to come. If it doesn't come now, it has to come after 10 years or 5 years or 15 years. So in pure economic terms, it may not give returns, but it will give multiple dividends. As we gave the example of smartphones, or we gave example of color television, or say automobile industry. The investments are not immediate, and at least they are not immediately visible.
Right. Mohammed Khan hasn't spoken yet.
Mohammed
Khan, go ahead.
Takes me from Rohini to Connaught Place. The expenditure which I do on metro. Metro is a common man's vehicle. This won't be a common man's vehicle. So the difference between bullet train and metro would be, I repeat, metro takes me in 30 rupees
but highly
from Rohini to Connaught Place. So it's a middle class vehicle, common man's vehicle.
I just want to bring in Mohammed Khan. Mohammed Khan, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say this. Look, Sanju ji, understand this. Look at this from a macro perspective. Look, I can't, my leader, Mr. Makan Saab, was on this channel a while ago and he very articulately laid out our position on the subject. So I'll just elaborate on that a little. Firstly, look at this, take a step back and look at where we are right now. The manufacturing sector has crashed. Every pink paper last week reported different percentages, but very high of a loss in jobs. Jobs have been wiped out. Demonetization has taken our economy back by at the very least 2 percentage points. That's a loss of about 3 to 4 lakh crores, right? And in that case, you guys, at this point, this seems like an indulgence that could have been avoided or delayed. Now, I'm saying that the idea of a bullet train is fantastic. Of course, I agree with people that it's an idea whose time will eventually come. And of course, we signed the agreement, so we're not opposed to it per se. But the idea is that you doing this now, instead of investing in a railway safety fund, and you can't say that, oh, the previous regime had accidents as well.
No, but that's exactly what I'm going to say. Mohammed Khan, why didn't you invest in a railway safety fund? That's unfair.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Which is exactly the question I was asking Mr. Ajay Makan. The numbers are not different between the UPA government and the BJP government. They're the same. You did not do anything to improve railway safety in the 10 years that you ran the rail ministry.
Even if I take that argument
and you didn't start a bullet train. So actually,
even if I take
two
that
strikes
argument at face value, even if I take that argument at face value, that doesn't exonerate this current government because they have reduced the environmental, economic climate to a place where there is no investment in any other sector. This is a time when, as somebody very rightly pointed out, we have to prioritize our very limited resources. We have to get the economic engine running once again. Banks are severely undercapitalized by their own admission. The demonetization didn't work out as per their best estimates, hang on. As per their worst estimates.
Sanju Verma, one more point that Sameer Zaveri wants to make, and you respond to both of them, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. I also received the information from the Mumbai Railway Police Commissioner office that there are two replies. One is the existing strength of Railway Police in Mumbai is around 3,500, in which the 500 posts are already vacant. So they need to be filled. Second, this police strength of the Mumbai Railway is 20-year-old. Since 20 years, it has not been increased. So now requirement is more 7,100 police personnel only for the Mumbai suburban section. And in this RTI reply, it is clearly written कि महिला सुरक्षा आणि जो female safety की बात करें, because in Mumbai suburban there are 75 lakh passenger travel, out of which 20 lakh are the female passenger. Regularly there are crimes with the females. So they want 7,100. So state government has to appoint this police. And my reply to Congress is you are responsible what railway is facing today. Because BJP came in power of the last 3 years. But you have not appointed since 20 years the new police. You have not taken care of the railway track.
Young man, if you discredit us and throw these brickbats at us, you must also credit the good work done by the Congress in laying the largest number of safety gauges, in building these tracks, etc. And let me ask you something.
Sanju Verma will want to respond to this.
Our job as Congress spokespersons is not to come and give you a primer on the Congress history of what is done or not done. It is to raise the voice of the people as it stands today. Faye ran a poll on this channel yesterday, and I remember it correctly. Do you want lower petrol prices or do you want a bullet train? The people replied almost unequivocally, 80% or in excess of that they want lower petrol prices. So clearly, listen to the people at times like this. There will be a time and a place for these pet projects, this pageantry and all of this.
Yes. Sanju Verma will want to respond to this. Sanju Verma, please go ahead. Sanju Verma.
And you know, Faye, when others speak, I have been absolutely quiet. I hope the other gentlemen will extend me that courtesy.
Yes.
First of all, to the gentleman who says that, you know, we've not got our priorities right. Sir, you stand corrected. Because let me tell you that the war on inflation has been won by the Modi government unequivocally despite the fuel price rise of the last 1.5
you're starting by discrediting yourself when you make a blatantly false statement like that.
Let her finish.
Can I please complete?
Let her
start with the premise that is at least acceptable.
Mohammed, can I just finish? To be fair, let her answer your question. Please let her answer
Can I please finish?
Please arrive at your point.
Please do not be so intolerant. I listened to everything that you said.
Okay.
Do not be so intolerant.
To the gentleman on the panel, please allow Sanju Verma to make her point before you rebut. Please allow Sanju Verma to finish making her point before you rebut. Sanju Verma, please go ahead.
Sir, you can rebut me after I'm done. Do not be so intolerant. The inflation when Modi government took over, retail inflation, which is what matters to people like you and me, was 13% and vegetable inflation was 25% plus. Today, retail inflation is 3.36%, Wholesale inflation 3.24% and vegetable inflation 6.5%. It was negative till last month. Pulses inflation is a negative 25%.
Sanju Verma, please stay on
So let
point.
me remind you, despite fuel inflation inching up, Modi government has won the war on inflation. Point number 2 on demonetization.
Sanju Verma, stay on point, please.
Mr. Modi has said this on record.
No, Sanju Verma, we're not talking about demonetization, please.
1.54 lakh crore of unaccounted wealth has been traced. And 1.54 lakh crore is 1% of GDP. So before rubbishing demonetization,
debate about the bullet train.
I urge you to look at the basics because numbers don't lie.
Tell us
Point number 3, on bullet train. Can I now speak on bullet train because the other gentleman spoke on demonetization, so I was giving a rebuttal. Somebody raised a very interesting question that, maybe the government will never break even on the bullet train. Now, I want to just point out, for whatever it is worth, a study done recently by IIM Ahmedabad, no less, one of India's most reputed management institutes. It says that if the bullet train ferries between 88,000 to 110,000 passengers every day or 100 trips at an average ticket price of between 1,500 to 1,600 rupees, then it will break even in less than 10 years, and post that it will start making money. So please do some homework before saying, oh, bullet train throughout its life will never earn money. That is an erroneous statement to make, sir.
That was Mr. Astana, the retired general manager of the South Central Railway, who's incidentally on your side. But Gautam Kirtane, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is a very interesting debate so far. So Sanju Verma, I agree with you in part, because India is such a populated country, we have large population densities in small geographies with short distances separating them. There is a chance that a bullet train in this case will even be financially viable in the near future, much more so than it would be in a China, for example, which is a much larger spread, much bigger geography of a country.
To be fair, our airports have not become viable. No, and they're cheaper than the bullet train for the passenger.
Yes, but the bullet train serves a very different function. An airplane and a bullet train are two very different functions. Trains from Osaka to Tokyo ply every day, and people work in Tokyo, live in Osaka. So what's happening is that someone's working in a place, earning his money there, his family is living in for me as a Mumbaikar, the Indian railways have failed me. It's been around for 150 plus years. The train speeds haven't gone up. The safety is abysmal. The traveling conditions are absolutely inhuman. And I am making the whole, I am contributing my sweat and blood every day to build this country, to make this country. And I have received absolutely nothing in return. Today as a Mumbaikar, I'm thinking to myself, instead of paying 30, 40, 50,000 rupees a square foot to buy a house in this uber crowded city, I might spend my money somewhere in Vapi, say for example, buy a little plot there, have my family there, have my children schooled there, come and work in Mumbai and go back. So I mean there are so many ways you can construct this argument. My only point is it's not an either or. Infrastructure like metros and bullet trains, you don't look at feasibility and financial viability in 5 years and 6 years as though you're putting up a restaurant somewhere.
I mean, interesting the possibility of people from Mumbai perhaps living in Gujarat and shuttling every day. We have to remember that it's a dry state, so I don't know how many people from Mumbai are actually going to make that move. Arshad is on the phone line from Kashmir. I want to hear what he has to say. Arshad, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations, ma'am, to you. I have always seen this debate and I always found you apolitical.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, and at least this debate always finds me interesting. My question.
Yes.
My question is this: that if we are getting, whose plan was this? Was it our Japanese friend who offered us that they will give us a bullet train, or we asked for that? Question number one. Second, could we have asked this much of amount for the existing infrastructure, which was already which we could have already got some revenue out of it? And we could have, this would have, in fact, put in less tax burden on the taxpayers. Because eventually we are going to pay back all this money by the taxpayers' money.
Yes.
And how many people is going to ride this bullet train? I remember I only took a ride in Mercedes, that too in the Germany, on a taxi, but I never had an expensive car kind of a thing which we afford to to commute.
Right. So it's an interesting question coming all the way from Kashmir, because every Indian citizen is going to pay for this out of their taxes, but it is running only between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. What about the people in Kashmir and their taxes? I have one more person on the phone line, Dr. Karthik on the phone line from Telangana, who's been holding for a while. Dr. Karthik, go ahead.
Good evening, madam.
Yes.
I have this one or two questions which I would like to ask. See, madam, if any technology that we imbibe will only benefit when we develop it. If we get the bullet train, we are not getting it for work. We are getting it. We are imbibing technology so that, like other person activist who said earlier, that we don't have the technology to find an object on a rail. So maybe with this bullet train, we may be imbibing that technology which we can make here in India and implement it on on the large scale. And so, like the first person in this panel who was speaking, like there are not enough beds for premature babies, because we don't look for the cause. We don't make a lot
but you know, Dr. Karthik, if you're saying that getting the bullet train will help us understand our existing trains better, that's like saying कि आपकी स्कूटर की ब्रेक खराब है और आप Mercedes खरीदोगे so that you can look under the hood of the Mercedes and figure out how to fix your scooter. Actually, it doesn't make sense. We should be using the money that we would use to buy the Mercedes to fix the scooter and make it safer. Rajiv Mishra, go ahead.
मैं संजू वर्मा जी का कुछ जवाब देना चाहूँगा। जैसे उन्होंने बोला कि मुंबई का जीडीपी रेट जो है 7% है, गुजरात का उससे सिमिलर है, इसलिए इन दोनों के बीच में कनेक्टिविटी बढ़ेगी। मेरा तो ऐसा मानना है कि जिस तरीके से आप जानती हैं कि ये पूरा एक कंट्री है, कंट्री के हर क्षेत्र में बराबर का डेवलपमेंट आएगा, तभी कंट्री को आप संपूर्ण रूप से विकसित मान पाएंगी। अभी आपको मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि जैसे आप अहमदाबाद में रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट वेरी गुड, मतलब मुंबई टू गुजरात अगर आप जाएंगी तो रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट इज़ वेरी गुड। सारे जो इंडिया की टॉप गाड़ियां हैं रेल में, वो सारे रेल वो अहमदाबाद और मतलब गुजरात होकर करके मुंबई में प्रवेश करती हैं, चाहे वो दिल्ली जाती हो, पंजाब जाती हो, वो सब गाड़ियां गुजरात होकर के मुंबई में प्रवेश करती हैं। एयर फैसिलिटी जो है अहमदाबाद टू मुंबई ये बहुत अच्छा है, मतलब गुजरात से एयर फैसिलिटी भी बहुत अच्छी है। ऐसी स्थिति में प्रायोरिटी अगर बुलेट ट्रेन की भी थी तो आपको यूपी या बिहार चुनना चाहिए था मेरी नज़र में, जहां आपके पास कोई अच्छी ट्रेन वहाँ के लोगों को यहाँ से कनेक्ट नहीं करती है। और अगर डेवलपमेंट लाना ही है तो गुजरात और मुंबई ऑलरेडी डेवलप है। अब तो यहाँ ऐसी बात हो गई है कि यहाँ के डेवलपमेंट से प्रभावित होकर के लोग यहाँ पलायन कर रहे हैं, आ जा रहे हैं, यहाँ पर आकर करके यहाँ की भीड़ बढ़ती जा रही है, यहाँ का ट्रैफिक कंजेस्शन बढ़ रहा है। तो आपको डेवलपमेंट दूसरी जगह लाना है। अब आपको गुजरात और बॉम्बे का जो डेवलपमेंट है उसको थोड़ा स्टॉप भी करना पड़े तो कीजिए, लेकिन बाकी के क्षेत्रों में डेवलपमेंट लानी है। तो ये बुलेट ट्रेन का अगर आपने कुछ ऐसा प्लान किया था तो बिहार यूपी के लिए करना चाहिए था, जहां एक भी अच्छी ट्रेन मुंबई से कनेक्टेड नहीं है ना अहमदाबाद से कनेक्टेड है। दूसरी एक इंपॉर्टेंट बात मैं बताना चाहता हूं आपको कि देखो, कोई भी प्लान आप करती हैं, पहले तो किसी भी प्लान को करने पहले इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट रिपोर्ट आपके पास होना चाहिए। इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट रिपोर्ट के बाद आपको पहले तो ये जितने लैंड से होके ये बुलेट ट्रेन गुजरेगी उसमें क्या क्या हर्डल्स आने वाले हैं, कहीं एनवायरनमेंट का प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है, कहीं फॉरेस्ट का प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है, इन सब का एनओसीज पहले आपके पास होना चाहिए, फिर जाकर के आपको उस प्रोजेक्ट की शुरुआत करनी चाहिए। आपने इन सब चीज़ों पे हमारे यहाँ मैं देखता हूँ कि डेवलपमेंट के नाम पर फटाफट किसी चीज़ को पास कर देते हैं, फिर वो इन्वायरमेंट में अटक जाता है, फिर वो फॉरेस्ट में अटक जाता है, फिर वो सीआरजेड में अटक जाता है और उसके बाद उसकी कॉस्टिंग बढ़ती चली जाती है।
आप गलत बोल रहे हैं।
दिस इज द वेरी बैड सिचुएशन।
आप गलत बात कर रहे हैं।
अब संजू वर्मा, मैं आपकी तरह एग्रेसिव तो नहीं हो सकता, बट लेकिन आप इसकी जानकारी को अच्छी तरह से निकाल लें, आपको सारी चीजें मालूम होगी। आपके मुंबई में जहां आपके भाजपा की सरकार है वहां आप पता कर लें कि कितने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सीआरजेड में फंसे हुए हैं, कितने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फॉरेस्ट में फंसे हुए हैं।
उनको जवाब दे दीजिए। संजू वर्मा रिस्पॉन्ड।
ठीक है सर, पहले तो आपने एक बहुत अच्छी बात कही कि पूरे देश का विकास होना चाहिए। विकास सिर्फ मुंबई, गुजरात, अहमदाबाद ये 3-4 जगहों तक सीमित नहीं रहना चाहिए। उस बात पर मैं आपके साथ पूरी तरह से मेल खाती हूं। पर यह कहना कि क्योंकि मुंबई और अहमदाबाद और गुजरात समृद्ध हैं तो हमें उनको छोड़कर बाकी जगहों पर फोकस करना चाहिए, इस बात से मैं आपसे मेल नहीं खाती। आप शायद भूल रहे हैं कि अप्रैल 2017 में मोदी सरकार ने 3000 करोड़ खर्चा करके 268 किलोमीटर लॉन्ग एशिया की सबसे लंबी अंडरग्राउंड टनल दी चेनानी नशरी टनल उसको लॉन्च किया। दूसरी बात, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के विकास के लिए 80,000 करोड़ दिए, ऑलमोस्ट 1% ऑफ जीडीपी। तो ये कहना कि मोदी सरकार की जो विकास की नीति है
चुना गया है टू गवर्न
तक सीमित है।
And he's absolutely right. There are environmental laws, Forest Act and CRZ that has to be followed.
सुन लीजिए, आप इतने उत्तेजित मत होइए। मैंने आपको बड़े ध्यान से सुना।
For 3 years, you have proclaimed success once again. ऐलान कर दिया आपने कामयाबी का, और आपका पता है किस वजह से करे। आप इतने मासूम मत बनिए संजय जी। आपके इरादे और आपकी नीयत सबके सामने है। The fact that you're doing this in Ahmedabad, all of this pageant.
No, Mohammed Khan, let us speak, please.
These are
Mohammed Khan, let us speak.
Rallies. Please.
No, one second.
Embarrass yourself.
I have some important points to make. Please allow me. I've been waiting for quite long.
Please do not teach me or lecture me.
Oh, okay.
Madam, no one is lecturing you. They are holding up a mirror to show you what you sound like.
No, hang on. Calm down. Everybody calm down. Akash Jindal.
Ma'am, you have a very people relationship with the
Akash Jindal, go ahead. One second.
Please, don't lecture us on what
Somehow it is the two representatives of the political parties that get the most upset on these panels.
Madam, please allow me to raise some points.
Akash Jindal, go ahead.
My first point is, all of us agree that this project is not going to be viable or financially feasible. But the logic being given is that metro is perhaps also not financially feasible or viable. But sir, with due regards, these are two totally separate entities. Metro is a common man and a poor man's vehicle. You can just spend 10 rupees in Delhi and get into a metro. You spend 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees to travel in a metro, and the fare of metro is almost compared to a local bus or a sharing auto, which is commonly used in Noida or Gurgaon. Whereas a bullet train would not be a common man's vehicle. So here the agenda is that yes, you are benefiting the common man. If you are doing something for the common man, there you can sacrifice the financial feasibility or viability. But here, as Faye has pointed out, 3,000 rupees fare, it's not for the common man, where the common man is getting to board the train for less than 500 rupees.
I want to respond to that.
So sir, please allow me to complete, sir. I didn't interrupt you. I have many other points to make. Secondly, I have high respect for Sanjeev Verma's party. I am not a politician. I am an economist. The 13% inflation figure she is quoting is not right when they took over. Right now also, why inflation is lesser? Because demand is low. People don't have money in their pockets. GDP growth is 5.7%. People don't have money to go and buy. So lesser inflation.
To be fair, WPI that came out today was at a 4-month high. And everyone who runs a house and does grocery shopping knows that inflation is not low right now.
But 2% is correct. Mr. Akash, 3.36 CPI is correct. My numbers are not wrong. Please do not make
the CPI which you are quoting when your government took over is not right.
Thirdly, I want my transport experts to speak now. Just 1 minute. Let's bring it back to the bullet train and not on inflation. To the economists, 1 minute.
Not valid. Japan has not given us a very good deal because Japan is a saturated economy.
Okay, one second. I want to bring in Mr. Asthana. Mr. Asthana, my question to you is this.
Good deal for Japan.
Right. Mr. Asthana, there's Jaya who's written to us on Invol and has asked a very interesting question. Jaya has said...
Please.
Yes, Jaya has said, Mr. Asthana, the rich will not travel by the train. The poor won't be able to afford it, and the middle class would burn a hole in their pocket by traveling by this bullet. So how does this work? Also, I want to tell you, businesses will actually, this is how we do it. When we send a reporter over to another city to cover something, we compare and find out which is the cheapest, and we'll send the reporter by that, and which is the fastest. In this case, it would still be a flight. So who would take this train? Mr. Asthana.
I would answer that. First is that why I gave example of metro. Initially, when you induct any technology, it is very, very costly. It looks very costly and it is not viable. But somehow there are manifold benefits which you see or which you don't see makes it viable. The second point is that will anybody take metro, high-speed train in preference to air travel? I will give you an example. Between Paris and Brussels, today there are no flights because say a person going from Bombay to Surat or Bombay to Baroda will find that the high-speed train total travel time is much less than the airport time, because going to the airport, waiting for the security, then exiting from the airport, reaching the place. In China also, I have seen during my multiple visits that in many places the HST is a preferred mode of transport and nobody thinks of buying air ticket. So that is why I say that whenever a new technology is inducted, whether, 100 years back when it was electricity, people said what will happen to the candle maker, it will lead to unemployment and all that. The benefits which come cannot be seen at that time. Bullet train is a concept, it's a technology whose time has come, and I don't think it can be stopped.
Well, I just want to point out one thing. We've, as several people on our panel have pointed out, the mode of connectivity between Ahmedabad and Mumbai is multiple, and most of it is very safe and most of it is very good. We have the northeast of India with 7 states that are completely cut off. Perhaps not just geographically, but also in our minds. Completely cut off from the rest of the country. Is there an airport after Guwahati? Are there trains? Is there a mode of transport other than road to the 7 states of the northeast of India? Why is it we're not working on those sectors? Gautam Kirtani, why is it we're not working on those sectors?
That's an excellent point. You know, now that you've said this, it's very important to connect the northeast to Kolkata. I would go to the extent of saying that it is very important strategically even to connect it to Dhaka, you know.
Connected to anything. Connected to anything. You know, it's suffering from the lack of connectivity.
Even Dhaka can help the northeast if it's connected by a bullet train. Kolkata can help the northeast if it's connected by bullet train. It's a very valid point. You know, I want to bring you back to the Mumbaikar's perspective. Sorry, I keep coming back to that.
Yes.
Today, if I have to go to Pune from Mumbai, it takes me at the very least 3 hours, at the most 6-7 hours, depending on the nature of traffic. I go in a Shivneri Volvo, a government bus, probably subsidized travel, no chance of break even here. And it costs me about 550 rupees. If the bullet train rate is applied to that, it will cost me 750 rupees to 800 rupees and I'll reach in 40 minutes. Now you tell me what that will do for business. We all know what the Mumbai-Pune Expressway did to boost business in Pune. How many people from Mumbai today have migrated to Pune? In the thousands people have migrated to Pune. We have to stand up and acknowledge that the bullet train will move business. It will make the spread of wealth much easier very, very rapidly. Please don't ignore this point.
For the Volvo to move, you don't need $17 billion investment. It just has to, Volvo has to be purchased for 20 lakh rupees.
Have we stopped paying toll on the expressway?
No, you don't need to invest $17 billion to have more Volvos, sir. Please compare.
No, I'm talking about the expressway, sir. Do you still pay toll on the expressway?
It is on the same road. The same road is still being utilized. My dear friend, here we are talking about the infrastructure cost, which me and my children are going to repay for at least another 50 years.
Both have to be looked after.
And I can tell you, my viability study tells me, I have been doing economic planning for a lot of organizations, that it may not be feasible at all. That's what I am saying. It's a marvel of technology. It would definitely give India a great
I have a question for you.
But
the question about the Northeast.
Only about
why don't you answer that question? Why not the Northeast? Why is Gujarat the most privileged center in your universe? Why does your political universe revolve around Gujarat?
Answer? Yeah, Sanju Verma. So let me extend that question. Let me extend that question. The Northeast, Telangana, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Odisha. We can go on and on. There are a lot of states that could benefit from the help from 1 lakh crore rupees, Sanju Verma. Why are we focusing on Gujarat and Maharashtra?
I think, Faye, you raised an excellent point by talking about the, focus on northeastern states. And I'm so glad you raised that. Let me now give you numbers. In the very first railway budget, you know what was the allocation to northeastern states? Railway budget alone, since we are discussing railways and the bullet train, what have you, 28,000 crore. You can Google and see that. More than 1/3 the overall budget for the railways. So to say that the Modi government has ignored the northeastern states is absolutely false.
Madam, there is a fundamental
Every
difference
year,
between
for the
allotment
last 3
and
years,
dispersal.
the allocation
What have you
to
implemented?
northeastern states
You have made
Let her
fantastic
finish,
announcements for all 3 of your years.
please, let her
How much
finish.
of that
Overall
has reached the people of the
railways
Northeast?
Let her
What
finish,
more
let
number
her
of
finish.
changes
Mohammed
have you
Khan,
made?
let her finish. You're being unfair. Let her finish.
Who's
Sanju
this
Verma, please
gentleman
finish.
who keeps butting in? Who's
Madam,
this gentleman
I am
who
the voice
keeps
of the
butting in
Congress.
face?
I am here
Why
to
is this
point out
gentleman
when
so
you are
intolerant?
taking us away from the facts,
Why
you are
is
taking
this
us into a
gentleman
realm of
so
imaginary
intolerant?
figures. I don't want to debate you on figures. I want to ask you,
Please stop
3
being
years,
so
4
intolerant.
months hence,
Say,
what have you
I will not
done?
speak if he doesn't keep quiet. Will you keep quiet? I know you seem to be in love with your voice. Now hear me.
I certainly love my
told
own
you
voice
the
more than
Modi
yours,
government has
Ms.
been
Verma.
allocating
But
more
that
than
doesn't
50%
exonerate
of
you
the
from
overall
answering my
railway
questions.
budget to northeastern states. You do not seem to have
No, but
any
Sanju Verma,
idea
Sanju
about
Verma, you're not.
economics, but you are
While
in a
that's
debate where
fair,
you're
while that's
discussing
fair,
economy,
we're not
which
talking
is
about
shameful.
why. The question that was asked was that why is this attention of the bullet train, which we decided is best served between Ahmedabad and Mumbai, was not considered in other sectors of the country that could have perhaps benefited more from the connectivity.
Government not focusing unduly on Gujarat. I said the Modi government has allocated 28,000 crore in the first railway budget itself.
Last question. All right, fair enough. Last question of the show to Samir Zaveri. Last question of the show to Samir
Please do
Zaveri.
not misinform the audience.
Yeah.
Please do not
talking about GDP of Ahmedabad.
I already asked you
GDP of Delhi is
3 questions to the BJP spokesperson Verma ma'am.
Which you have not
My
done
last
answer.
question is you are talking about number of things, but I want ground reality that why don't in the long distance train, when train runs, you already have the doors, both the side, why it is not locked? For example, last month, one passenger, the engineer, was travelling from the Chambal Express Delhi to the Jhansi side. The Railway Protection Force officer entered in their train. They started collecting bribe. That engineer passenger started recording video. So RPF people caught him, assaulted him, robbed his mobile, gold chain, bracelet and thrown him out of the train, and the passenger died. And another passenger who is the advocate of the Allahabad High Court, they opposed that also. They went to the police station. Police station did not register FIR. So I ask about what about the priority and the safety of the people?
The safety of the people. All right. So we've also had, and I want to remind our viewers, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you know that we've talked about people getting raped in trains, people getting thrown out of trains. We've talked about train derailment.
Why not CCTV?
Yes. Let's also remind our viewers that a large chunk of the Nirbhaya fund that was meant for the safety of women was moved to the Railways Ministry because the Railways Ministry said we will use it to put CCTV cameras in train stations. There is so much left wanting from our railways in basic safety. And I go back to what I was saying at the very beginning. Gautam, unfortunately, I've run out of time. I go back to what I was saying at the very beginning. The numbers, if we look at the numbers of people who die in Indian trains, whether they're long distance or whether they're locals, are epidemic. In any other country, that train would have been shut down because it's unacceptable to have 7 people die every day because they get hit by a pole, because there isn't enough space in the trains for them to get in. That's, for the people who don't live in Mumbai, you will find this visual shocking. But for the people who do live in Mumbai, this is so ordinary that 7 people fall out of the Western Railway every day and die, and nobody cares. Nobody cares enough to do something about this. Nobody cares enough to stop women from getting raped inside of trains. Nobody cares enough, like Mr. Zaveri was pointing out, to fill the positions of the police officers and the police constables that we need in order to make our trains safe. We don't have the technology to make a train stop when there is something on the tracks, which is why trains get derailed in this country. We're building a bullet train. We want the technology. It sounds like a good idea. It also sounds like a rich man's train. One can only hope, in capitalist terms, that these rich men contribute a tremendous deal in increasing the number of jobs and putting money and the hands in the pockets of India's poor. So my appeal then to the rich men of Ahmedabad and Mumbai, you're going to have to do your part to make sure that the people who pay for this train, which is largely in your benefit, also somehow gain. Because in the meantime, let's not ignore the fact that children are still dying out of starvation. that women are still being raped, that old people are being mugged and robbed. We don't have jobs. The price of food has gone through the roof, and the price of fuel is appalling. Bullet train is a welcome change of conversation. But we do hope that while the government does this, and it's no longer a debate, the deal is done, it focuses on the things that also desperately need its attention. Other parts of the country, other types of people who are perhaps not rich businessmen, ordinary Indian citizens who need your attention. Mr. Prime Minister, now that the bullet train is done and inked, we would like some of your attention as well. Thanks for watching.